And look, I've been biting my tongue the whole time. Those of you that were watching live, I got the news, I think live during the trade deadline that we got him. Yeah.
I listened to it.
Yeah. I've never liked him as a player. I've never liked him. I'm coming clean here. And I tried to be optimistic and positive through these 4 or 5 months. I've never liked him. You could probably hear when the trade broke in my breakdown. I was doing I forget what game it was. It was the game before the Lakers game. And I was ecstatic because to me, D'Angelo Russell is an Instagram all-star, man. He's an Instagram all-star. And people get caught up in this of he's got cool tattoos, he's got cool celebrations after his threes, and that's what sticks in the youth's mind. But like the reality of it is this dude, I don't know if he can even play in a playoff series in the fourth quarter. And I want to get into like you saw Wiggins' debut. Look, he guarded LeBron for 30 minutes, and LeBron didn't even really go at him. The sign of a truly weak defender is the offensive player's eyes get real big and they're like, oh, let me just abuse this fool. And that wasn't the case. D'Angelo, third and fourth guards off the bench, eyes get big when D'Lo's on him. And so this narrative that D'Lo is like this star player, and dude, watch what happens here. I've made a lot, like I've kind of got a good reputation for saying, oh, this is going to happen, and let's see what this happens. Watch what happens in Minnesota with D'Angelo and Karl Anthony Towns, man. His value, you're going to see how this plays out here. Now, I'm not saying a switch is going to flip with Wiggins necessarily, but in hindsight, as this trade ages, it's going to look like, oh, they got off him in time, because I don't think his value is going to get any higher. He's coming off his lone all-star season. He's never going to be coming off an all-star season again.
No, again, like I'm not making the comparisons between Wiggins and D'Angelo Russell. But if we're talking about at the off season, you put D'Angelo Russell on the 76ers, he looks amazing, man. He doesn't have to be an all-star point guard. The thing that I love about his game is his passing. And him with Tobias and Embiid and Horford, it would be an absolute perfect match if they decided to keep Embiid. And Ben Simmons would be absolutely perfect on the Warriors. So, I hope Wiggins looks the way that you think he's going to look, and I absolutely agree. D'Lo and Karl Anthony Towns, I saw a stat, something about their starting lineup without Karl Anthony Towns was like 106, 107 efficiency. And then with Karl Anthony Towns, it was like a 117, which is apparently the worst defensive rating of any starting squad since like 73 or something. So I agree. Minnesota's going to look like trash. And yeah, D'Lo's value will probably go down next to Cat. I just think they look super soft. But I still don't understand why the trade doesn't wait till the offseason.
Perhaps because that's how quickly internally Golden State grew tired of D'Angelo Russell. You know, if you read kind of between the lines and like what the guys close to the team, Slater and them were saying is like, yeah, pretty quickly they were like, oh, this ain't it. Like Joe Lacob was ecstatic to get rid of him after he was like very happy to get him, and maybe he's just saving face or what it is. But I think that, look, obviously they're not going to say it. They're not going to trash the kid. But on a weekly basis, you could see Draymond on court being like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And it's in all, you know, the quote, they'll go as far as saying voices in the locker room had grown tired of D'Angelo. Right? And so that's just a vague way of saying that they were like, all right, let's get off him now. You're right. Off season, see what happens amongst the powers, and then maybe there's more options, but maybe there's less. And they didn't want to take that risk. Plus, yes, they needed to get under that tax because now they're going to spend the mid-level and the trade exception next season. So I think we also have to take a look at who we acquire with that money we freed up in this offseason to also fully judge these moves. Because, yeah, it hurt to lose Spellman. It hurt to lose Spellman. But they were also, I think it also speaks volumes that they wanted the 2021 pick like, oh, we know y'all about to be trash. we know that like that Cat D'Lo pick and roll is going to be nasty on both ends. Teams are they're gonna put those two in a pick and roll relentlessly.
Yeah, man. Did you see their like little reunion off the plane, like and Cat had the jersey waiting for D'Lo? Did you see this off his private plane?
I threw up in my mouth.
I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, they had to watch it back, and it's just like you understand that every player in the league is watching this, and y'all just look so fucking soft, you know. And you know that everybody's gonna be going at this team with this they're going to remember that clip just like I'm going to remember it every time they play them.
Here's what I wanted to speak on a little bit. I wanted to dive a little bit or just talk a little bit more about this whole like losing versus winning culture. When I coached, albeit youth basketball, what I learned after my first like 2 or 3 seasons was you have to run a tight ship. You have to run a tight ship. It's the little things. And whatever you hold like very important to your system and your principles, you have to hold everybody accountable, right? And like you could go, like I watch a lot of high school basketball with my kids. I can tell from a layup line if the ship's tight or not. Like I can tell, are they doing jelly layups and the passes are loose and they're doing, or is it just an efficient striding layup line, right? And like for me, it was like, all right, everybody needs to sit down in their stance, hands wide, no exceptions. That's the rule. You're on the court. When you're on defense, you're sitting in your stance, your hands are wide. Now, all of a sudden, if a kid's not doing that, he sticks out like a sore thumb, right? If it's a must, it's a non-negotiable. Now the kid sticks out like a sore thumb, because what I learned was ultimately, even and especially at the NBA level, but in all levels of basketball, the players have to hold themselves accountable if you really want to be good. And Wiggins, he's had like 4 coaches, right? There's never been time to set that culture, right? And so when he goes into cruise control, he doesn't stand out amongst his teammates. And that's the key, right? Like, of course, the fans are like, oh, Wiggins, he cruises. Like, he's inconsistent. Like, we can see it easily. But he doesn't stand out amongst his teammates. And that's the key. That's what allowed him to do it. And now you place him in the most winning culture in recent history in basketball alongside Draymond, who I could argue that was his greatest contribution to this dynasty. Draymond's ability to hold everybody accountable on the court as a player. And so if Wiggins decides to go into cruise control here, and I'm not talking this season because this is a weird 30 games, right? But when we're at full strength and we start the game 1 next year and we have championship aspirations, if he goes into cruise control, all of a sudden he's going to stick out like a sore thumb because the culture is set and the players hold themselves accountable. And now you flip over to Minnesota and they've already babied Karl Anthony Towns. You think the 2 best friends are going to hold each other accountable when they mess up in these pick and roll coverages? Oh, my bad. Oh, you good, Cat? You good, baby? You good, D-Lo? Oh, baby, you want to go play some Fortnite? We good. It's good. And that's from your best 2 players. So the Warriors are like, yeah, let us get that 2021 pick.
I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy.